Hi friends, welcome to Anna's Pastry Kitchen. I'm so glad you're here today. So today I want to show you how to make some really lovely garnishes with fresh oranges. I'm going to dry them and they'll be lightly sweetened with sugar and a little bit of spices like cinnamon and a little bit of ginger. And those will actually dry out in the oven for a couple hours on a low temperature. The other thing I want to do is I want to show you how to make some sugared cranberries that are just so beautiful. They're just glistening with sugar and they make a beautiful garnish for a cake with white icing around the holidays. So I've already started here. I'm slicing my oranges with my mandolin that I got from my daughter one year for Christmas, and I love it. These are not too thick, which is good. If they're too thick, it'll take them forever to dry out. And I've washed them, dried them, sliced them on my mandolin. Now I'm gonna lay them on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and I'll sprinkle them with a sugar mixture that has a little bit of cinnamon and ginger and a little bit of sea salt in it. So they'll be lightly sweetened, and I love that they'll have just a little bit of salt, not too much. I got this idea from my friend Ed, who is a masterful cheese board maker, and he did a Facebook Live the other night and showed us his dried oranges, and I thought I need to make those for an upcoming chocolate torte for Christmas. So I've got my slices here. When I was looking through Pinterest, I saw that some people were using blood oranges, which would be gorgeous. So now I've got a larger orange. We'll go ahead and see how that does. I love a mandolin. You get even slices. Can you imagine trying to slice these really thin and all the same size? No, but this does the work for you, and it's lovely. So look at that, so easy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay these out. I've already preheated my oven to 200 degrees. I'll sprinkle these with sugar. These are actually really good for snacking also, and they'll be beautiful on the cheese board and also as a garnish for a chocolate torte. I think I'll make the Queen Mother's torte and garnish it with these dried oranges. So these are really large. I might have to cut them in half after they're done. But these will dry out for a good like 2.5 hours in this low oven. So there we go. I've got them all lined on the baking sheet. Looks kind of pretty, doesn't it? And I'm gonna sprinkle them with this sugar mixture. So it's sugar, a little bit of cinnamon, some ginger and sea salt. I'll just sprinkle these. Lightly sweetened is the key. I decided not to make the candied oranges. Those are just a little sweet for me. They're the ones that, you know, you simmer on the stovetop with in sort of a water and sugary glaze, and they just get very sweet. I like this better. They're not quite as sweet. I would imagine these might even be good for snacking. So, all right, look how easy that was. All right, we will come back in a little bit and I will show you how to make these sugared cranberries. Another beautiful, beautiful garnish for any sort of cake, especially a cake with white icing around the holidays. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Okay, so our oranges are drying out in the oven. I turned it up to about 215 degrees. 200 just felt like nothing. Anyway, so they're in the oven at 215 degrees. They will dry out for a couple hours. Now I am making our sugared cranberries. So this is another lovely, lovely garnish. And you start by making a simple syrup on your stovetop, which is 1 part sugar to 1 part water. So I did that, brought it to a simmer, and then took it off the heat. You definitely want your sugar to be melted, of course, but you don't want to boil this. You're not trying to caramelize that sugar. So when it simmers, stir it a little, make sure that sugar has dissolved, and then remove it from the heat. Then I let it cool for a little bit so it's a little more room temp. It's not so hot. And now I have a bag of Ocean Spray cranberries. I feel like I'm on the Truman Show, little product placement. And I'm gonna pour them into this simple syrup. By the way, simple syrup is used for making sorbet too. So I make it by using 1 part sugar to 1 part water, just like I said. So, all right, and look how these cranberries are glistening. I love it so, so much. I think we'll use these on our cheese board, and also if we get around to making a cake, I'll garnish the cake with these too. So they're nicely coated. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on this cooling rack here over all my oblong pans are in the oven with orange slices. So I have this round pan, which is fine to catch the syrup. So I'll go ahead and take these off. They will drip a little and dry out somewhat on this cooling rack, and then when they've cooled for about an hour or a little less, I'll roll them around in some sugar and they'll be ready, and I'll store them in a container, airtight container, until we're ready to use them as a garnish. So again, not too hard, doesn't take too long, and they are just beautiful when they're done. So I will continue this after they've cooled a little bit. I'll show you how I sprinkle them with sugar. And so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Or actually, I'll be back in a little bit because they need to cool. But in any case, you'll see me soon. Look at these pretty orange slices. I'm so happy with how they turned out. They baked in the oven for about 2.5 hours to get dehydrated. Our cranberries also turned out really nice. They're going to be so pretty on our cheese board, and also on the cake with white icing. So thank you for joining me, everyone. I hope you're doing well and have a wonderful holiday.